Coach, can you hear me?
I can.
Fantastic. You told Alan and Meg on SNY in your post-game interview you weren't very surprised by what the freshmen brought to this effort. Was there anything you saw from the upperclassmen that maybe wasn't what you were expecting?
I mean, yeah, I don't think particularly. I don't think Liv and Kristen have particularly great days. I mean, not at all, for whatever reason. But I thought Avina had a really good day, considering she hasn't played in a couple of years. I thought he had a really good day, and I thought Aubrey had her moments, and I thought Anna had her good moments. So, yeah, it's the first game out, and there's a lot, there's a lot to like, and there's a lot to not like. That's normally how these things go.
As a quick follow-up, just with Olivia being that she didn't play much in the second half, was part of that because you were trying to get some of these newcomers playing time and see what the rotations would look like?
Yeah, I mean, Liv played almost the entire first half, I think she ended up playing like 18 minutes or so in the first half. So or 16, close to it anyway. Yeah, and I mean, there's only so many ways that you can get some of these guys in and give them some time, and that was obviously the easiest way to do it.
Thanks.
Joe, you want to go ahead?
Do I? You want me to go? I can ask and answer my own questions. I'm pretty good at that.
No, I'll go. Geno, this is Joe Zone.
Hey.
First game, who's who, what's what is what you were looking for. Did you get too much information, and do you have enough time in 2 days to kind of sort through what you saw today?
Like I said to the team, you can find out more in a 40-minute game sometimes than you can in 4 months of practice. So we've been practicing for a long, long time. But the things that we saw today are probably more telling in good and bad ways than those 4 months, because what ends up happening is they start to see that all the good things, that happen and all the bad things that happen are directly related to, what happens in practice. So when we practice and we say, hey, look, you got to keep your foot still. When we, let's work on well, it's not that important. Well, it is until you get a couple walking calls, or, hey, let's make sure that we finish around the basket, well, I missed a couple, nice try. Well, until, hey, get in your stance and let's talk on defense. And, so these kinds of things are way more important when you see them in a game, because when you show your players that, they say, oh yeah, see, now I know how that transfers over. So you play these early season games for that reason.
Alexa, you want to go ahead?
Hey, Geno, were you able to get that much from your defensive effort today? Was it, a matter of opponent maybe, but do you feel like this team can be kind of a defensive force? You guys held them to single-digit points in all but in all the quarters and 2 points only in the second. What is maybe the ceiling for this team on the defensive end?
I don't know. I'm not. I don't think after one game, I could say that definitively we can be. I don't know that we can. Based on what I've seen, I don't know that we can be one of those elite defensive teams like we've had in the past. And we may become that. Maybe down the road we can become that. And it's something that we've talked about in practice a lot. And we've talked about, there's a wall in our practice facility. When you walk down that wall, you see all the national defensive players of the year. Their pictures are there, they're all this stuff. And I asked, some of our players, I said, do we have any of those players here on our team? And, does anyone aspire to be that player? Like if we said, okay, we're playing a really good guard. All right, well, Kia Nurse, you got that guy. Hey, we're playing, really good forward or whatever. Hey, Gabby, you got that guy. I don't know who those people are yet. They may evolve, but I don't know who they are yet.
Pat, Rob, you want to go?
Sure. Geno, could you just give an evaluation of Paige's performance tonight? She seemed as advertised.
Well, I don't know. I mean, when you come advertised as, you're better than every flavor of ice cream that ever was invented, and, you play a game like you played today, there's probably some people out there that are probably going to go, she's not all she's cracked up to be. But I don't know. I think Paige was Paige. Paige did all the things that Paige does. She scored some points. She rebounded the ball. She stole the ball. She passed the ball. She had a feel for our offense. Her first game as a college player, I think she played great. And that, what I like to say about kids that age when they play and you just say, look, if you look at that game today and you say, I'll bet you over the next 4 years, that's the worst game that Paige Beckers will play in her entire career. When you think that, and she almost had a quadruple double or whatever she had, then you think, wow, she was pretty good today. But her expectations, I'm sure, are way higher than today. But I thought she had a really good day for her first game.
Michelle Vopel.
Yeah, I thought she had a really good game for her first game too, Coach. This is Michelle from ESPN. What I wanted to ask about Paige specifically, if I could, is and I know this isn't any surprise, you guys have seen this, but her instinct and her aggression, and we saw that from the very first basket that she had, the put back and just how smooth it was, and how is that something that you think really stands out about her, is that she looks so comfortable right away, I feel like, on a college court?
I would say so. I would say, Michelle, that's true. I would say that probably the first week of practice that we had to today, there hasn't been a time where we would say as a coaching staff that Paige looked really uncomfortable. There may be times when she's not shooting it great, or there may be times when, the right pass isn't always the right pass. But there hasn't been a time, I don't think, where we would say, there's a part of the game that she's not comfortable with. There really is. You hate to say this because she's still young, but there really isn't a segment of the game that Paige doesn't feel comfortable doing. It doesn't really matter what part of the game you want to analyze. Like, can she pass the ball? You saw that. Can she shoot it? You saw that. Can she get to the basket? Yeah. She'll try to play defense and she gets into passing lanes. I mean, that to me is in baseball, they were 5 tools. They can hit, they can run, they can throw, they can hit with power, all that good stuff. So when you look at Paige, she's a 5-tool basketball player,
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Geno. Just to kind of follow up on what you were saying about seeing more from the 40 minutes, what did you see that you were really impressed with? And again, on the negative side, that you will be working with more before the next game?
Look, this is the weirdest game I've ever coached in since I coached my son's AAU team down in Orlando. But at least there were 400, coaches watching. This is the weirdest thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest with you. It really is. So, my expectations for today were really, really low. How low? My expectation was, if we actually play this game, it will have exceeded my expectations. if we actually play the game. So playing the game to me that was it. Like, let's just play the game. What happens in the game was almost secondary as far as I'm concerned. And so what did I see that was great? Nothing really. What did I see that was really good? I mean, if you think of it this way, one of the things that I want our players to do is I want them to be true to who they are. I want them to be who they are. So what you saw Paige do today, that's what Paige does every day. That's who she is. What you saw Mir McLean do today, that's what Mir does every day. Okay? You bring her in here right now into this conference and say, Mir, I'll give you $1 million. Tell me 2 plays that you guys run at Connecticut. She won't get one right. But if you say, Mir, when somebody shoots the ball, who's getting that rebound? She's going to say, me. And that's what she does. And then when she gets it, she's an aggressive player. And that's what she was today. Aaliyah Edwards is an aggressive player. And that's what she was today. You know? Nika fouls a lot in practice. That's what she did today. You know? Now, to be true to her, she hasn't practiced much the last week. You know, she's getting over a little foot thing. But, you know, so I think, you know, Aubrey did what we need Aubrey to do. So what were the positives? That a lot of these new players, young players that I wanted to see that I didn't know, would they do the things that they're good at? They did. They did the things that they're good at. And now we got to build on that. What didn't I like? Everything else.
Jeff Jacobs, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Hi, Geno. If I could just ask one more question about Paige. Not only did she look comfortable, it seemed that her teammates were comfortable around her. And I know, like, a lot of times when players get a lot of hullabaloo, either they're big players, you got to force it down, see what they can do, or they're 3-point shooters and they got to have a hot day. But she seems to be do so much. Will that help your team without, I guess, we'll put it this way, without forcing her to be like this unbelievable point scorer in a given night, that you can just kind of fit into the growth of the team also?
Yeah. The thing that that would tell you that, Jeff, is how many shots did she pass up today that she had? That you could have easily said that was a good shot. And she does that every day. She will pass up a lot of opportunities for herself to score so she can get somebody else a touch. And that's why all the players love her. That's why they feel so comfortable around her, because they know she's not out there looking to get 30 every night. She's out there to make sure that we win. And if you're open, you're going to get the ball. Sometimes even if you're not open, like she threw a pass to Piath on a pick and roll or a little thing, and Piath had no idea it was coming. But she will down the road. But, you know, she's going to pass up shots, and that makes all the players feel better. That was Diana's greatest quality, I thought, was that if you were on the floor with her, you automatically became a better player just by having her on the floor with you. Now, it's not fair to compare, you know, Paige to Dee, because when Dee was a freshman, Dee had like 4 or 5 legends on her team. So this is a different scenario that Paige is stepping into. But they have similar mentalities of how to play the game of basketball, what's important in the game. And I think you saw a lot of that today.
I don't have any other hands, so if anyone wants to ask a question, go ahead.
Hey, Geno, it's Doug here. You talked a little bit about Avina. Just wondering if you could kind of reflect on her game. Obviously, there's a lot of anticipation on her end to finally get on the floor. And just how do you think she handled herself?
I thought she was great. You know, Avina hasn't played in a long, long time, coming off surgeries. You know, we try to give her, you know, breaks during practice. So I kind of, in a game, I try to like let her go and then give her some breather and let her go. And she's kind of, you know, wanting to be that kind of driving, you know, force for us defensively. And she's another one that you could put in a lot of different scenarios. You know, she's going to make a three like she did. She's going to, you know, get in the lane and make a play. She's going to go get a rebound. You know, she's going to, you know, pester you on defense. So, you know, he's going to help you a lot of different ways. I don't know what her reputation is, you know, where she played before or what her reputation is coming out of high school. And, you know, I'm not really concerned about that. I just know for us, what she did today, you know, is exactly what this team needs from an older, you know, experienced player.
Geno, it's Carl. You always say coaches love practice and players love games, but are you looking forward to playing 4 games in 8 days? Hopefully play 4 games in 8 days?
Yeah. If we could play 3 more games this coming week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, that would be huge. That would be huge. Obviously, if we win all 3 of them, that's even better. But just being out there and playing. Again, we practiced for 4 months, and I learned more about my team today than I did in those 4 months. And after Tuesday's game, I'll know twice as much about my team as I did in those 4 months. So for me, these are all learning experiences, finding out about my team. So yeah, we need games. That's the only way you can find out. We don't need any more practice. I don't want to go to another practice if I don't have to, and neither do the players.
How does that affect your rotation when
I
you
don't know.
need to see things in a game than in practice?
Well, that's what I have to try to figure out. You know, that's why we tried to play Aaliyah a lot, you know, either, you know, with Liv, without Liv, you know, we have to figure out, when do we use Aubrey? When do we use Mir? You know, how the guards are going to work themselves out. It's more of the post players that I have to figure out, the front court players. The backcourt rotations, those are easy. But yeah, I need to figure out how to do that. And each game will give me an idea. You know, what the rotation was today might not be the same rotation on Tuesday. And what the rotation is on Tuesday might not be the same on Thursday. I don't know.
Kai, you want to go ahead?
You know, just expanding on that a little bit. I mean, this is a team where you have a lot of depth, and it's not necessarily going to be the same lineup every single game. So how do you go about kind of figuring that out, but then also developing the identity of the team this year?
Well, you know, I've coached some teams that had a lot of depth. And by nature, you know what depth means? You know, like when a person has depth, that means there's a lot of substance below the surface. I've had teams that had more substance below the surface sometimes than they had in their starting lineup. This team, we have 8 or 9 players. I don't know what kind of depth we have yet. I don't know who can do what in game situations. I don't know if we're limited in certain lineups. We can't play these 2 guys together. We can't have this guy out with that guy. You know, we can't play this person at that position. If that becomes the case, then we don't have depth. We have specialists, and that's not that great. So by the end of this week, I'll have a better idea of what kind of depth we have.
Does anyone have anything else for Coach?
Yeah, this is Jim Clark, coach from Women's Hoops World. You said Aaliyah Edwards did what she does. Give us more about what you think she can bring as she develops.
Well, I thought she was a physical force inside the lane. I thought she was probably the most physical player in the game. Every possession that she was in the game, I thought she was a factor in the lane on both sides of the floor, offense and defense. And her aggressiveness is going to get her in trouble, as you saw with the offensive fouls. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And, you know, she's going to rebound. She's going to play defense. She's going to get herself in a position to finish, you know, get a layup. She's a pretty good 15-foot shooter. She's not a bad passer from the high post. She didn't get a chance to do all that stuff. She runs the floor well. But I thought for today, her first game out, I think she did the things that she's most comfortable doing. Which when I was recruiting her, that's what I thought. So this kid goes hard. She runs the floor hard. She's physical. She's aggressive. She attacks. That's what she did today.
Geno, it's Carl again. Was Shea any different on the bench today?
No, she wasn't. One time I wanted to call off the press and she said, why? And so I don't know what happened, whether, Tom might've said something on last night or this morning or something. I don't know, but I said, we should sub our starters out. She goes, not yet. So I don't know what that means. I would have to ask Tom. Nah, Shea was Shea. She wasn't any different. Yo, this is the weirdest thing ever, man. I can't stress that enough. This is the weirdest thing ever. I looked over in the end zone. We have more dog posters at our game today than we had human beings. When was the last time that happened? There were more canines in Gamble Pavilion today than there were human beings. And it wasn't even a dog show. If it was a dog show, it would be great. It just can't get used to this, man. I can't look over there. I looked over one time when I saw my wife. I wasn't sure whether it was her or the cardboard version of her. It's the weirdest thing. I seriously, I've never seen anything like it.
Do you know yet, Geno, what you're doing for traveling? You know, how you're going to be able to come back into the state and play again?
No. I just know we're going to Seton Hall on Monday and we're playing Seton Hall on Tuesday. And we do our testing and we do all that. So there you have it. I think you have to be in the other state 24 hours, I think, something like that. We're not going to be there 24 hours. And even if we were, when we come back, I mean, it's not like we're going anywhere and doing anything. So, hey, tell the cops not to stop us. The bus is going to go fast. Just tell them not to pull us over. And if we play lousy at Seton Hall, I would tell the governor, hey, look, you got to quarantine us, man. We can't play Thursday.